Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, and we're discussing the interview that Joe Biden had on the ABC News with George Stephanopoulos, what he had on there, and we're just discussing that. Anything else that's happened during the debate, anything else like that, unless if it was mentioned during the specific interview, will not be brought up. We're discussing this, and we can compare his talking comparable to the debate. But the only thing we're going to bring up is the questions Stephanopoulos brought up, which if they relate to debate, we can bring it up then. But I'm not going to be like, okay, this is what Biden said in the interview. Here's this. And then we're comparing it to the debate fully. No, this is just the interview, nothing else. And before this, a lot of people were talking about George Stephanopoulos was not a very fair guy. Before, he was saying that he's a lot more on the Democratic side. And I thought he did a pretty good job, in my opinion. Also, some people are shooting off fireworks for no reason right now. It's past 4th of July. It's the 5th, and we're leaning towards the 6th. So, yeah. What I did was, again, we got our notes. We got the glasses. This knows when you're talking politics is whenever I have my glasses on. I watched it, took notes, about 2 pages of notes, reviewed it, went upstairs, took a bath, came back, did some prayer, did everything I need with my family, came back down, and was like, you know what? We're going to discuss it now. We're going to discuss it after reviewing everything. How do I feel? And these are the notes I took while it was happening. If you have any disagreements, check the tape. Because a lot of them, I might mess up a few words here and there. Almost all of it will be exactly what happened during the interview. So we'll start off with saying, Biden says it was a bad episode relating to the debate that happened. Strange. A lot of people would disagree with that. But that's what he said when George Stephanopoulos asked about him being how was the debate. This is just a bad episode, pretty much. He said, yeah, it was. Check out my other interviews. Check out what I've done. I've gone to 10 different cities. I went to Wisconsin, I'm pretty sure, earlier that day. Check those out. That's what he said. He also said he was sick during the time of preparing. He had a 6-day period. Doctors thought he might have been sick. Turned out to be a bad cold. That's what ended up being. And that's why he was bad. That was his explanation on why. And he said that Trump lied 28 times. That was a thing brought up. There was fact checkers on it, so I don't know if that's fully true or not, but that was what Biden said. You can take that for your word. You can take that for his word and any else information you can find based off that. I heard numbers around that, but nothing I saw enough to prove that fully. I just didn't do enough info. I didn't do enough research, I should say, on the topic. Okay, repeats. He kept on repeating that it was a bad night for him. It was a bad episode, once-off thing. And honestly, I didn't think Biden did terrible in this thing relating to other interviews he's had when, like, Fox News will show a clip and it's just, oh my gosh, he looks incompetent. Or any network shows him, it's like, okay, he looks incompetent. He looked better off today than he does before, so you got to give him that. But again, the bar is not that high. Okay, he says Trump was yelling after the muted mic, which is a complete lie. The camera panned on both of them, split down the middle, unless the monitor showed up for a question. It was Trump and Biden. And we could clearly tell the entire time, almost always, Trump would keep his mouth shut whenever Biden wanted to talk. And you could tell because whenever Biden would try to say something afterwards, the other mic could pick up on a little bit of it, not much. Trump, I never saw once. It picked up once for him on Biden's mic, but for Biden, it picked up a couple times. So that might say something right there. Okay. Says he grew the economy and NATO. I think Sweden was brought in during that time. I'm not sure how much that was directly related to because of him. That might just be a fact of I was here during this time, things got better. Let's think if I was a principal, if I was a student at a certain high school and the grades got better. Well, you're a part of it. How much were you actually participating to it? I don't know. The grades of the school got better, I should say. Okay. And the economy, I think a lot of people disagree with that. Biden says he's taking on something no one else has. Well, duh, no one else has had an opportunity to run for the second term of the 46th president. But the idea of what he's saying is no one is getting and put in a position like he has right now, relating to whatever he has to say. Either it's pressure or he's older or something of that nature. I don't know exactly, but that's what he says. And something he said when three things he promised heading into his election was these three things. He mentioned it during the debate, the interview, so we're going to discuss it. He said he wanted to unite the country. He wanted to unite the country. He wanted to help the middle class. And he wanted to bring decency to the White House. What three of those things have happened? If the country has become more united, has it become united? No. Help the middle class. I don't think he's helped the middle class that much. If anything, taxes and everything has got higher to make it more difficult on the middle class. And bring this decency to the White House. I think he's done more far things from that. I mean, cocaine was found in the White House, and that was a thing that was just looked at and then passed on. There's a lot more things that have happened that we're not going to mention here, but that was just one thing. Cocaine was found in the White House, just casually just snorting coke on a Saturday afternoon as this 81-year-old man. No, what bad can happen? What bad can happen? But there's always one thing that I heard Reagan say a while ago. It was a famous quote of his. I'm not sure this is exactly how it goes, but if you ever hear one of the worst things to hear is a politician say, "I'm a politician and I want to help." That's one of the worst things to hear, because they're doing things for their favor and to get themselves to look better on their end and not actually benefit you. That's why people liked Trump, was because he was a businessman. He gave a different perspective. He worked with people that were not strictly politicians, the Dana Whites of the world. He worked with the Vince McMahons of the world. He worked with a lot of people of that nature and other very high-tier millionaires and billionaires on stuff of this nature, and befriended a lot of them. So companies that run the world would look at him as someone they can respect, not a politician who's trying to tax them because they make a lot of money. Why would they want to work with him? They probably wouldn't. Okay, says America is about to break through in a good way. He says America's about to break through a wall or something of that nature in a positive way. He's built up 4 years of something, and it's bound to break through for the next 4. If you just keep him in office, it will happen. That's what he's saying. Kind of avoiding questions. He did kind of avoid questions a lot with George Stephanopoulos. He was giving direct answers, but he did overall answer, I think, most things. It just sometimes took a long time to get there. It was like you were supposed to run 100 meter, and he ran a whole lap. You didn't have to run the whole lap, but you did get it, but you didn't have to. Claims schedule was the reason why he struggled. That was another thing. The schedule was the reason why he struggled during the debate, and the lack of health, with him being sick, apparently, of a major cold. That was not COVID. He did specify it was not COVID. Nothing severe, which is a bad cold. And his schedule, which if a president cannot handle being scheduled on repeated visits to multiple areas, that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing, if anything. That's a bad point to bring up. Oh, the schedule's too heavy. Then why should you be in office if you can't handle a heavy schedule? You're the president. You should be the main one. You've been in politics over 40, 50 years. Understand what it's like to be a president and actually take care of your schedule. And if you can't handle that much, don't schedule them. Okay, because you know it's more important that you get ready for a debate than it is going out to, I don't know, Madison, Wisconsin to give an interview or anything of that nature. Okay, says he does a neurological test every day. But he says that he refuses to do a neurological test for the world to see. Yeah, he's refused. George Stephanopoulos asked him a couple times, would you do a test for the world to see? He said he wouldn't. Pretty much said he would. He would ignore. He said, I do one every day. Just watch what I do. Well, we watch what you do, and you failed all of them. So I'm not sure what you're trying to say there. Put one out there that makes sense, that we can respect from a separate doctor, that we understand their point, and we can take it ourselves and we can compare as a normal society. Don't give a special test to him. Give a normal test that you would give a man that's an 81 that has a possible dementia patient. And we can compare with others that are also dementia patients ourselves. Okay. Another thing, he says he's running the world. He says he is the one running the world. That is not a comforting thing to hear. If an 81-year-old man's running the world, we got a problem. That is a big problem right there. If an 81-year-old man feels like he is running the world, I understand the idea of thing. It's a major country. It's a huge country. We got to understand this. We got to do this. We got to do that and all that. And we have control over these things. I understand. But you're not in the Middle East. You're not in Europe fighting these wars that are all over the world. And if you control the world, I hope you stop what's going on in North Korea, because that stuff is way worse. If you control the world, you could be able to stop that. But you don't. Because guess what? You don't control the world. You control your country, and you're not doing a really good job at that so far. But let's continue. Okay. Says he shut Putin down. He said he shut Putin down completely. That's interesting to hear. I'm not going to touch on that, but that's just something he mentioned. He says he got Japan to increase their budget. Thinks he can hold up for 4 years. And this is also a quote, or not a specific quote. This is the parameter of what he said, pretty much. It's not about knowing what he or she are doing comes to the office. It's all about character. Character is the most important. It's not about the knowledge of what you're doing. It's the character of the man himself. That is interesting to hear, because one thing that is known, I said I wouldn't mention debates, but I'm going to bring it up one time. If we're talking about character, we're talking about a man that completely, he insulted Trump on stage a lot. And we're discussing character, calling someone a liar repeatedly, calling someone insults, interrupting at times, not the most well-received thing to do. And there was a lot of times, if anyone wants to know this, there's a video out of many times Biden being completely racist. I know Trump's talked about being racist, but we can go through the history books and discuss how Trump is not racist in any sort of way. We can discuss how he helped out. Okay, let's discuss this. Trump in the early 90s, when Mike Tyson had the whole idea of him raping a woman, everyone bashed him. But guess who stood up for him? Donald Trump did. Donald Trump stood up for him and said, and he just stood in Mike Tyson's corner. Everyone dogged him but Trump. Guess what? Herschel Walker, one of the greatest running backs in the history of Georgia football, the greatest player in the history of Georgia football, one of the greatest players in the history of football, he was going through a tough time. Guess who stayed with him? Trump stayed with him. Trump stayed with him during that time. And you're talking about him being racist? Herschel Walker said he wasn't racist. Mike Tyson, he said he wasn't. You talk about a lot of these guys that are historically great black athletes that represented their sport to the highest of levels, and they said this man was not racist. He was in the USFL too. He ran the USFL that had a whole lot of had a lot of great black players that came from that league that were allowed to excel because they were not allowed to come out as early as they wanted to in college. And they tried to compete with the NFL. And a lot of them had great careers in the NFL. Why am I bringing up sports? Because I'm a big sports fan. And I'm sorry, I can't compete. I can't compare with other businessmen or other people that know more about politics. I'm going to what I know. I know about sports, and I know what he's done for the sports and the athletes within of my knowledge. He's probably done a lot for a lot more. And also, to be a great businessman, it's tough to be racist and a great businessman because you have to work with so many people, and you got to give them things that they like and like to hear, and also give the products that have proven to be successful and know they will like and their customers will like. So it's tough to call someone a racist whenever they've only helped people of different races. Oh, they want to build a wall. Okay, that's to protect our country. That's a good thing. Give jobs to people that are legal citizens of our country. That's a good thing. I think that's not racist of that sort. And there's a lot of videos of Biden being racist. So if you want to see that video, just let me know in the comments. Just say, hey, tag this part of the video or whatever, and I'll send you the video to your Twitter or whatever you want to find. Let's get that in touch. I'll send the video to you, and we can look at it then. Because I'm not going to put it up here. I got copyrighted on one before, and I'm not going to copyright it again. Anyways, okay. We talked about character. Biden's character lacks. Okay, says people think he's done a good job for as president. Interesting. Not many people say that. And this is when it gets really weird. I really believe this part of the moment is whenever things start going downhill very badly for Biden. Not a bad first half, not very good at all. But compared to what anything else he's done, this is not bad. This is not bad so far compared to the bar that is set for him. Okay, it says popular poll is wrong. This is when it gets really weird. He says the popular poll is wrong. He says you people who have voted on the New York Times, CBS, ABC, Fox, any one of those networks, any one you can find, CNN, all of the Washington Post, all wrong. All wrong. Those are wrong polls. Those are skewed. Those are lies. And guess what? Says he had some of the most incredible poll numbers in 2020. He had some of the most incredible poll numbers in 2020. Guess what? in ever. He says the most incredible poll numbers ever. If he said it was the most, it's definitely not the most ever, because let me try to find this clip real quick. I'll be back real quick. Okay, I just wanted to fact check. In 1984, Ronald Reagan won the poll 49 states to 1. That is by the official voting. And the one state that did not vote for him was Minnesota. It's not a huge state. It had 10 points, or vote technical, to the eventual, the Steiner. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. It had 10 official votes. And yeah, that's the biggest landslide ever. So it's clearly not the most incredible poll numbers ever. And the popular vote was very close. And George Stephanopoulos kept mentioning that. That's a good thing to hear. Okay. And 36% rate of approval. And it says Trump has never been challenged. Trump's never been challenged. I can clearly guess he forgot that in 2016, he arguably pulled off the most incredible upset in the history of the presidential campaign of becoming a nobody, becoming to the political world, a businessman that was looked at as just a political stunt to stay relevant, actually won the thing. And you look at people before, it was like, this guy has no shot. Politicians believe they have no shot. Republican Party is like, this man should have no shot. And then he went in and just took the world by storm and changed everything. And I think one of the problems that we have in our country, and especially the political system, is that a lot of people are trying to do what Trump does. And let me get some water real quick. We're talking about Trump, right? What was I going to say? Okay. If you're a basketball fan at all, do you remember the 2015 Warriors by any shot? How basketball at that time was more of an inside, mid-range. Three-pointers were starting to become more of a thing, and more of a thing, but not to an extreme level. And then Steph Curry and Klay Thompson showed up, and they went crazy in 2015 and won the title as a jump shooting team. And then Steph Curry and the Warriors went 73-9, and he was back-to-back MVP, unanimous MVP for the first time ever. You know what that changed? Everyone in the NBA went from, let's work inside out to we got to work outside in. We got to get 53s up a game to have a shot. These teams started changing their rosters to, we have to have corner shooters. We have to have bigs who can shoot threes. We have to have guys who can shoot the ball off the dribble at least a 35% clip or better, or you can't make the team. And that changed within 2-3 years. Completely changed. And that's the thing that happened to Trump. No one was debating like Trump did. No one went on debate and yelled at people about, okay, you're this. No one took actual shots at people. Maybe at the party, but not at them. But they realized they saw the crowd's reaction, and he started getting cheered a bit. And he started pointing things out. I was like, oh, okay, this actually works. And everyone was like, you know what? We're going to debate, but we're going to argue. And we're going to debate between each other. Not represent our parties, not represent America. We're going to represent ourselves, and we're going to take personal shots at each other. And that's Trump's game. And you can't beat Trump at that game. And that's why the media was so huge on him in 2020. They were dogging Trump as much as they could. And they still barely won the popular vote. Trump did so much to hurt himself. And the media ragdolled Trump the entire time. And he still barely won the popular vote. So that's a lot. Oh, let's get back to this. Okay. Says the polls he talks to says that it's a toss-up. 50-50 shot. Coin flip on who's going to win. It clearly shows that he is talking a bunch of yes men and yes women, especially his wife, about everything, which is ridiculous. Says he's the most qualified. That's insane to say. Says Americans do not know about how good he is for the job. I remember one point they're asking about, well, clearly Americans are not voting for you. People, they don't think you're as good as you say you are. And they're like, well, Americans don't know. They don't know. That's a great thing to say. Yeah, we don't know. That's great. Says Trump has helped no one. No one. We just talked about how he's helped. Also, he helped Dana White out in the UFC whenever they needed venues. Hey, work at the Trump place. All my buildings work there. You can run your venues there. He also helped Vince McMahon in WWE. You remember in WrestleMania 23, one of the best matches you could have at that Polk card? The head shaving match. It was a great match. Check it out, though. WrestleMania 23. Vince McMahon and Umaga against Bobby Lashley and Donald Trump, and I think Stone Cold showed up. It was a great game. It was a great match. It was phenomenal. And you know, like, he's helping out other people in different ways. That's what businessmen do. And he understands that. That's why I think it just makes more sense. It just makes more sense. And then here's the two other things. He also repeated that Trump is a liar. He said it like 5-6 times. He believes he's the most qualified and will beat him. That's why he's two main reasons why he should be kept as the main guy. People close to him are yes men, and while polls show a difference, the polls show a complete difference, and he is clearly not the main guy. And it's sad to see that this is what it's come to. He says that he does not lie to politicians. That's something we don't know fully, but the politicians will be able to say. A lot of them would not want him to run, so that says a lot about his honesty and stuff. Refuses to answer questions, but he says that he can draw crowds larger than anyone. He doesn't even specify politicians. He said anyone. Yeah, Taylor Swift. Yeah, Beyonce. Yeah, Morgan Wallen, who could probably sell out Neyland Stadium within an hour if he just said, hey, I'm showing up here in 2 days. Get to go there. $100 a ticket. They'd all fill up. Bare minimum $100 a ticket. It's probably like $300 probably for a Morgan Wallen concert in Neyland. Yeah, I'd show up. Oh no, I'm not even a big fan. It's just the point of showing up because it's Morgan Wallen in Neyland. You don't see that much in your lifetime. But he doesn't even get more than Trump. Let's not lie. Trump's rallies, he got a whole, like, it's not fair. Trump's venues are bigger than Biden's. It's just not fair. It's really not. Trump's fans are like Cowboys fans. They will ride or die with him no matter what, if he wins or loses. But your Cowboys game will show up more than like what's a good team? A Panthers game. Cowboys fans will fill up if you're 4-12. Panthers fans, you got to be a Super Bowl team to be able to show up for them. Stuff like that. Oh, let's go with this. It says that the majority wants him to stay. That's clearly proven false. And then says his polls are different. Again, his polls that he is hearing from his personal people are different than the actual popular polls. Strange. And says that, this is the last thing, says he holds everything together with his election. With his election. This holds everything together. He will hold everything together with a magnet, with super glue hands. He will hold everything together. It's like a puzzle. He's holding everything together perfectly. It's incredible. Super strength. But my final review on everything. I'm going to go through some of the points that were mentioned and discuss it myself. Look better, but that's a low bar. That's a very, very low bar. He holds up wanting to stay. That's something I wanted to hear. He's staying. He's confirmed staying. It's going to be tough to find a new guy coming up. I think RFK Jr. can come up. I'm not sure for the Democratic Party, but as a guy that can just pop out of nowhere, if he can get on that debate stage on September 10th, watch out, because he can become a big guy. And call Trump a liar 4 to 5 times, possibly 6, but bare minimum 4, which is a lot. Says yes men and is getting pushed to stay by his circle. A lot of yes men and women just pushing for him to stay, which is ridiculous. White House is acting like he's a huge underdog when he's clearly not. He's been the president for 4 years. How can you be an underdog whenever you have your whole performance shown? And you had the lead, and you've blown it completely. It's bad. Okay. This is one thing. Okay, he ignored questions, which was something that Trump did before, which something I would want Biden to avoid doing. Was that something, hey, Trump does and I don't. That's something to do. But that doesn't happen. And then this is one thing I've realized, and I think a lot of people in America have realized, all about just beating Trump, not being the best for America. They don't care. Trump more cares about America than Biden does. And that's, I think, what people have realized. Make America great again is his slogan, and it's shown more. Biden's like, we're going to beat Trump. We're going to beat Trump. Never saying, I'm going to make America better. Look what I've done. That is what he says. A lot of people they're debating not putting you in office again. And a lot of Democrats are like, I don't want to vote for you because of what you have done. That's why. 3.5 years have shown us why you should not be in office rather than why you should be. And the only reason people are not going for you is because a lot of people just hate Trump. Hate Trump with a passion just because he talks different than other people. And they liked Hillary, and he upsetted her more than anything else ever. It was a bigger upset in Appalachian State beating Michigan. It's bigger than that. And it's like, okay, we're going to hate you now. We're going to hate you now. Oh, he did this. I heard this one woman call Call him a Hitler. Call him the next Hitler, Trump. Anyone who says that has the knowledge of a 2-year-old, and even a 2-year-old will probably know not to say something that ridiculous. They have the amount of brain cells as a skeleton. They have more brain cells than they do. I've seen Casper move, and he's a ghost, and he's got more brain cells than women and men who think that way. If anyone thinks that anyone in the world right now, outside of probably Kim Jong-un, is matchable to Hitler's level, do some history lessons. Do some history lessons. Hitler wanted mass genocide of all Jewish people. Has Trump ever said anything like that? No. And anyone who genuinely thinks that way, I want to ask, what do you think about Hitler? Because what about Trump has ever thought, crossed the mind, that he's anything related to Hitler? It's incredible. He's nowhere close. He's not Mussolini. He's not Stalin. He's not Khan. Khan is a phenomenal leader, but it was very gruesome back in the day. He's not King Henry VIII. He's none of them. He's not Mao Zedong. He's not Kim Jong-un. He's not Putin. He's none of them. He is none of those people that looked as mass killers across the board. He's none of those. None of that level. And if you want to find an instance he has killed 10 people on purpose, find 10. Because we got millions to prove between them. And also, if he was Hitler, it'd be a dictatorship and he'd still be running. He wouldn't have to run. He'd make it his own. Do your history lesson before you start talking, because that makes no sense at all. And his neurological problems are severe. That's already a thing we've known. Very likely has dementia. It's just looking like it right now. It's sad to see. I had a grandmother who had dementia, and that was one of her main downfalls in her life, was just because she had dementia. And you just can't, you just over time lose thought. And it's bad. And over time you just start losing what understand with yourself and reality. And it's a sad digression of life. And I hope that on no one. And it's sad that we put a guy out there who is possibility of 4 more years of this. That's sad to see. And then gave Republicans stuff to use as bait. He mumbled a lot. He had silences. He had stuff of that nature. And also he gave some answers like no one likes Trump. Or Trump has helped no one. That's when the Republicans be like, oh, he helped them here. Mentioning he's a liar. Oh, he did this, and this. The polls, oh, they're going to go at him on the polls. And I gave a final score, drumroll please, of Biden 13, Republicans 42. Biden showed something. I mean, compared to the debate, we're going to compare to the debate now. At least he showed some ability to complete a sentence. That's improved, but he made one more extra field goal out of that. And the reason Republicans fall down is because Trump was talked about earlier. He called up for a debate. He did not accept an interview, which is fine, but he wants a debate, which he probably should not do. And he was caught cussing and just saying bad stuff, insulting Democrats earlier, which Democrats would be like, well, this is why we don't want him in office, because of stuff like this. It's a bad look on his part. But they're still way ahead. 42-13. From 49-10 was the debate score. 42-13 is this one. Put it in the comments your opinions about this. Say whatever you want. This is my opinion. This is what I took notes upon. If you have any disagreements, put it in the comments your opinions about it, and we can discuss possibly next time on here. Or I share my opinions in the comments if you want any more explanations. If you want that Twitter video, just check it out. Put your Twitter. I'll send it to you. So yeah, put down opinions about this. Hope you have a great day, y'all. Stay safe, and God bless y'all.